So you have the right to have what you want in life. And that's not just the things that you already know or think that you can have, such as anything that you're already in possession of. You know that you can have those things. But the reality is you can have anything. If you can think of it in your mind, then you can have it in your hands. And this is all possible through faith, through being positive, and just understanding that it's something that's real. And it wasn't up until just recently where I started to be able to come out of my mind and understand that there is much more to life than our little box that we're living in. And our box that I talk about is what could be referred to as kind of like our paradigm. It's the way that we are. And the way that we are is not necessarily the way that we want to be. I think that we can all agree that there's things about ourselves that we don't know necessarily, well, why is that? Why am I like that? Why do I think like that? And if it's something that you question, it's something that can be changed, and that's important to understand that. But at times it's extremely hard, because if you don't fully understand that it can be changed, and we just we learn to accept things as they are. That's what we're taught. That's what everybody around us is doing. Everybody is just accepting their realities as facts, when in reality that's not. You don't have to. That's a choice if you want to accept those things. But again, it's a very hard thing to do, because it takes so much time having those thoughts and those ideas burned into our brains. So essentially from childhood, take for example, like when a baby learns its name, a baby's not going to learn its name the first time that it hears it. It's through the constant saying of the baby's name and getting the baby's attention. Things like that is how the baby learns its name. So through the constant repetition of doing something is how we get things ingrained into our minds. So, for me, I'm mid-aged or so, and it's been, I'm 40, so it's been 40 years. Well, yeah, more or less 40 years, because I'm just now starting to get enlightened to these things just in the last 6 months or so, of all these things that have been ingrained into my mind. And I'm realizing that all those things are who I am and are why I am the way that I am. But the big thing for me is I've been able to realize that I don't have to accept those. I don't have to accept the things that were put into me by other people. And of course, the people that in our lives, that they always just want to do the best, and I believe that. And they didn't know any better. They didn't know, So we can be, and you can be the one that gets out of that and understand that you don't have to do things and instill into other people, your own things that are external to that person. So when we look inside of ourselves, what we can do is we can look for anything that we don't like, anything that, and you can start with the easy things. Say for instance, something that you don't like about yourself that other people have brought to you, to your mind. And it could be something as simple as, the way that you do your hair. Let's say that for instance. And I know, or the color of the hair, and then that keeps you from doing something that you really want to do. You don't want to color your hair that color because there's somebody in your life that says that that's an ugly color, or they don't like that. Well, that puts it into your mind that is, eventually through time, that you won't do that because that's an ugly color, or whatever, different types of things. I hope you get what I'm saying. But that's somebody else's thoughts being put into your mind, which through time and the repetition of continuing to put that in your mind, you're just going to believe that as the truth. So there's ways to get out of those false truths, because if it's not something that you believe in yourself as a truth to you, then it's not your truth. That's somebody else's truth, which is the truth to them. That other person may have, for whatever reason, a passion against the color red or whatever it is. So for them, that is a real deep truth to them, but they don't have any right really of putting that onto you. And then in all reality, you are the one that has the power within yourself to either accept that as a truth or say, no, that's not a truth. Like, I respect the fact that you don't like the color red, but I'm not going to let, I'm not going to let that come and stop me from doing things that I want to do, or being the person that I want to do, or dreaming of the things that I want to dream of, because that's for you to do yourself. That's within yourself. So remembering that everything is within yourself is very important. And, to get rid of those things, those seeds that have been put inside of us, that's the hard part, man. Like, that's real hard. And the first thing that's hard about it is to begin to look inside of yourself with the truth, to find the things that you don't like, not necessarily that you don't like, and then the things that have been put into you that are not your truths, that you don't believe. Because, again, that's the thing is we've been told these things for so long that we start to believe them ourselves. And that's both the magic of this and also the curse of it, is other people can put those things into us, but we are able to get those out. And then once we get those things out that don't serve us, let's say, we're able to start to make room for these better things that we want, that are going to benefit us in life versus hold us back. Because that's what we have is we go around with all of the external thoughts that other people have put onto us that hold us back, from being ourselves. And that's not the way that it's supposed to be. We are all individuals. We're like snowflakes. There's not any two of us that are alike. Everybody is different. And at the same time, everybody is made up of the same things. We're all human. We're all at the very basic, science has proven that it's, we're all based on energy that's vibrating at different frequencies. So knowing that we're all the same, but we're all different, for me, understanding that, it brings me in connection, and it's really opened my eyes to say, yeah, I'm different than everybody else, but at the same time, we're all the same of the same thing. And when you really wrap your head around that, I found that it brings you a sense of understanding more, and it's really allowed me to open my eyes up to a lot of the problems that I have with myself, which would be, the selfishness, and be able to move through that, to know that, hey, we're all in this together, this game of life, and we all want to move towards greater things, and we can do it all together because we're all connected, but we all do it in our own individual ways. And that's really allowed me to open my mind up to all the studying that I've been doing and learning about all of the natural laws that exist in this world. And it's I heard somebody explain it that the laws of nature are so precise. And proof of that would be the way that the earth revolves around the sun, right? I mean, it doesn't just kind of haphazardly wobble around the sun. It's very, very precise, to the point where we can rewind back for, however many thousands of years and say, this is the way that the sun would have been lined up at this time. And I know, in ancient structures, that's how they're able to prove that things were built in alignment with the sun and stuff like that. So that precision, the precision of all of the natural laws, to me, that indicates that there is some intelligence beyond anything that will ever, or not, I can't say that will ever, but anything that we can even come close to comprehend at this time. Which then opens my mind up to, thinking of those types of natural laws, that those laws are for that, and we're made of the same thing, so those laws have to be for us too. And then understanding that, and then through my research, again, it's really opened my mind and my eyes up to some steps and some things that you can start to do to not only get out of the issues that you've had before, or but really move on with your life, get to a point of doing good. That's really what we're here for. I believe that we're all here to help, in whatever way that we can, to help our fellow man. We are all of the same things, like I said, so we all should work to help everybody else. And in order to do that, we have to be in that mindset of the helping. Whereas, just the negativity and everything that's so abundant in the world, it can make it tough. So one of the first steps to do is to figure out how to get those dirty weeds out of your mind, get the bad habitual thoughts out of your mind. And what I find is that whenever I'm working on trying to get out something that I know is not serving me, let's say for instance, I used to, it's not actually as bad, it's getting much better, but I used to have a lot of road rage. Like people would just come, flying by, and I would, speed up and this and that, and I would let them get to me. And it got to the point where, of course my wife never liked it, but it never did any good. And what that did is it put me in a bad mood. And it was the realization that person that's zooming by me, they don't know me, they don't care about, there's no thoughts from them to me, and they're just doing what they're doing. Yet by allowing them, by their actions, to cause negativity within myself, I stopped and I realized that, hey, I'm letting, they have some control over me that they have no idea that they have. And that's not cool. Like somebody I've never met is controlling the way that I feel. So when I started looking at things that way, it's like, well, no, I'm not. I mean, that doesn't make any sense to allow that to happen. But it took the actual realization and the thinking and, just understanding that that's the case, taking a step back and looking at it for what it is, that's allowed me to work on that. And now, I still have lingering little, but I'm able to sequester it pretty quick when somebody does something kind of crazy on the road. I still do a little bit, but for the most part, I'm getting over it. And it's what it is you have to constantly remind yourself, right? Like you have to remember that you're trying to be better. You have to remember that you're trying to stop to do something. You're stopping an old habit, because that's really the trick of it. Because through the repetition of reminding yourself that, hey, I don't want to do that, or whatever that certain thing is that you're trying to get over, that bad habit, let's say, just through the reminders to yourself, that's really the first step, the first key to this is to make the decision that you want to be better. And we all can. I mean, there's nobody that can't change their mind. The mind, the thoughts is the one thing that any other man can never take from another man. They can never take the spirit of a man, the conscious, the thinking, the ability to think. Nobody can really, and again, at times it seems like they can if you allow them, like with the road rage for me, I allowed them to get into my mind, but you don't have to. You can choose and say, no, I got no space for that in my mind. And getting to that point, it really opens your eyes up to a lot of things, and it allows you to do what you need to take the progression to actually, the secret of getting the things that you want out of life. This is just the first step of many that it takes to build up to that. And I guess the major steps to me, what I have found and what I'm putting into use and what I'm realizing in my life, nearly every day, is the first things that we have to do is we have to have, a goal. Let's say you have to have a goal, and the goal it can be anything. The goal can be anything, but what I would suggest is to find a goal, but have a real reason that helps others. It could be helping your family or helping anybody, but that needs to be at the base root of your goal, is to help somebody. And it could be, I want this car, or I want that car, or I want this house. And there's nothing wrong with wanting those things, but at the base of that needs to be the reason of helping. Always helping, always for further expansion of ourselves, of the ones that we love, of just people. As long as that's the root of the things that you want, that's huge. You can't want things for selfish, vain reasons. It needs to be to help others. So once you have that, that's a big thing. And then you have to have faith. So, and I'm not going to get into that now. That's a whole deal. But you have to have faith in yourself of things working. You have to really believe, because what that does is that keeps that keeps the negativity out, because you must move in your life in a very efficient way and in a very positive way. That's another step. And that's just always doing good things, doing things the way that you know is right. And, and for some of us that's easy, for some of us maybe not so much. So there's a lot of different steps. And then, putting all of that together, you just move on in your life, following those, and then literally anything that you want in life for the right reasons, you can have. So I want to thank you for watching, and I really hope that at least something that I said kind of resonates with you and helps you in your life, because that's the whole point of me doing this. Is I've realized how it helps me, and it's how it's helped the people that I love that's closest to me. So thanks for listening.